Call this meeting of the Elk Grove Township Board to order on July 28th, 2025. Would you please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Dukes,
Present.
Trustee Lujai,
Present.
Trustee Stanyek,
Here.
Trustee Weincoop,
Present.
Supervisor Scaletta,
Here.
Assessor Caroselli,
Present.
and I'm Clerk Saturn. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's time for public comments. Public comments is for a time to speak on any item not on the agenda. If there's an item on the agenda, you'll be able to speak about that at the time that we discuss it. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board on an issue not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on. We have the consent agenda. The first item is the authorization of payroll and bills, including the town fund, general assistance, road department, and sewer. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the bills for the township?
Yes.
Are there any comments or questions?
No.
Can I get a motion?
Trustee Lujai moves to approve the consent agenda.
I'm sorry.
Authorization.
Actually, let me, can you withdraw your
Motion is
motion?
withdrawn.
Sorry, I was a little bit premature. I did that at the last meeting, and I promised myself I wouldn't do it again, so let's go back. Now let's talk a little bit about the department heads, the department reports. Everybody has an opportunity to review those. I thought it was kind of interesting when you start to look at the individual reports, we're seeing some increases. And so when we look at the administrative services, the total rides completed for the senior and the disabled bus transportation has increased by 14%. In addition to some new drivers, I think that some of this has to do with the eco-lane system that was implemented last year, earlier this year, I should say. And the eco-lane is making it more efficient for the drivers to make it to their stops. If someone has a dialysis appointment that goes long or even short, the administrative office can adjust the schedules of the bus drivers because they all have an iPad. And so the system has been working very, very well. And I'm pleased to report that we're seeing a 14% increase in those services. When we look at the Department of Social Services, the one thing that I thought that was the most interesting is that when you look at the general assistance recipients, that we've seen a 24% increase. So there's lots of need out there. Corey Dewey and her department has been doing a good job of servicing the residents of the township. And the social staff attended an Illinois Department of Economic Security and formerly incarcerated client trainings, so that was very positive. And they extended the service contract with the Salvation Army. When we look at the food pantry, what's interesting is that the number of households served increased by 1%, but the donations received increased by 4%. And most importantly, I wanted to point out that the volunteer hours have increased by 38%. And if you've been back into the food pantry, you will see that it's not just about sorting the items that come in, it's about making sure that those items are suitable to be put on the shelf and organizing them by dates to make sure that first in is first out. Meyer Simply Give has launched the fall campaign on June 29th, and it'll run for 13 weeks, ending on September 27th. The double match days are on August 16th and September 13th, and so we thank Meyer for their support. There are now 20 registered participants for the food pantry lockers and 7 pickups since the ribbon cutting on May 16, 2025. While the food lockers are an excellent opportunity for us to be able to take care of people who are unable to visit the food pantry during normal business hours, they're also being used at this time in connection with Kenneth Young and also with the Elk Grove Police Department in the event that there's an emergency and we need to do a pack out. And Corey Dewey and I will be visiting some of the other municipalities to make sure that the other police departments are aware of that as well. The Department of Youth Services, we talked a little bit at the last meeting about the increases that they've seen. Social skills, for example, is increased by 34% this year, where the township has served 154 youth. I think that the one that's really interesting that jumps off the page at me is the school-based programs, and a lot of this had to do with May, but also in June. So for the year, we've seen an increase in 67%. Staff also participated in the Oasis and Blackhawk game night events. Those are the prefab homes, and they did that along with the Cook County Sheriff's Office and some other local elected officials. Also facilitated a bicycle safety class for local summer camp students to practice hands-on safety skills. And of course partnered with District 59 to lead an interactive station during their end-of-year community day, fostering connection and community engagement. Moving on to the adult and family counseling, the one thing that I noticed that just jumps off the page is that the number of counseling sessions has increased by 35% this year alone. And so I wanted to ask Luann, the Director of Adult and Family Counseling, to step up and tell us a little bit about why we're seeing this increase in the successes that your department is seeing.
Thank you for having me here tonight. And yes, our numbers have definitely increased over the past year. During this reporting period last year, essentially, the reason for that is because we have more availability of staff now. We have a part-time staff now who's giving many more hours than the part-time staff we had last year. So we have increased capacity to see the clients on the wait list. And we still do have a wait list, but we are able to see clients a lot more quickly than we did a year ago because we have more staff availability. But I would like to just highlight some of the key staff in my program, all the staff in my program who are just incredible. A little bit about myself first. I'm the clinical director of the Adult and Family Counseling Program. Just on a personal note, I did grow up in Elk Grove Township, and my family was here for over 55 years, so my heart is definitely here in the township. I am also a product of District 59 and District 214. I have a master's degree in social work and with a minor in applied psychology. I am a licensed clinical social worker and a certified alcohol and addictions counselor, and I have 40 years of experience, 32 of which have been in supervisory and directorship positions. I've been with this township going on about 4 years working here. One of my staff, I have all of them are great, but I'd like to talk a little bit about Carmen Martinez. Carmen has a master's degree in counseling. She is a licensed clinical professional counselor with 12 years professional experience in the field. She's fluent in both English and Spanish. And she has been with the township for about 10 years. The last 5 were full-time. So for 5 years, she worked part-time. And during that time period, the Adult and Family Counseling Program was combined with Youth Services. So Carmen, when she was working with Youth Services, provided several of the school-based groups. Carmen has extensive experience working in therapeutic day schools with some severely emotionally, kids with emotional issues. And she's an expert at our ADHD screenings here, and she conducts them in both English and Spanish. Another full-timer, Priya Vidagabat. Priya has a master's degree in clinical psychology, and she has a master's degree in health psychology. She has 15 years of professional experience. She is a licensed professional counselor, and she is trilingual. She is fluent in English, Hindi, and Gujarati. Priya has been with the township for going on 3 years now, and she has developed an incredible parenting seminar curriculum that we give throughout the year, 3 times throughout the past 2 years. The curriculum is wonderful, and it's been very well attended. Our 2 part-timers on staff currently, Karina Balderas. Karina has a master's degree in social work from University of Chicago. She is a licensed clinical social worker, and she has 26 years of professional experience. She is also a school district parent educator. She is fluent in both English and Spanish, and she's been with the township 3 years now, part-time. Time flies. Our newest addition, Juan Navarez Barron. Juan has a master's degree in political science and a master's degree in bilingual social work. He has 5 years of professional experience, and he is fluent in Spanish and English. He's been with the township now for 3 months. He's picked up a lot of clients off the waiting list, and he also has experience supervising youth service workers in a different organization, very similar to the program here. So we provide general counseling services, family counseling, individual counseling, couples counseling. We do mental health screenings, mental health assessment and diagnosis, and treatment. We do ADHD screenings and the parenting seminars. We collaborate with the Jocelyn Center for our clients who require psychiatric medications. And we do a lot of referral back and forth between the departments. With youth services, we're always referring back and forth. With social services and the food pantry, all the services that we offer. So we provide counseling services in person and also by telehealth. We see clients during daytime and evening hours. The really unique thing about this program that I really love for the township is that we do serve clients of all ages. We have, our youngest client is 4 years old, and we go all the way up. I think our oldest is pushing 80. So thank you for letting me explain a little bit about this program. Does anyone have any questions?
So, thank you, Luann, so much for your presentation.
Yes.
You have established such a great team, and we at the township are blessed to have such a talented, skilled, educated, and multilingual staff. I mean, that was just quite impressive listening to, you know, all the licenses and all the education that your staff has, and you know, the cherry on top is all that multilingual, because you know, it's great that, you know, people are able to speak in their native language and still be able to get those services, which I'm sure gives them some comfort.
Definitely.
So, anybody have any questions?
I have a quick one.
Yes.
Luann, are you able to track yet the like average time that people spend on waiting for services?
I am.
I don't need that number right this second. I'm just curious if maybe we could get a follow-up. Yeah, because it looks like you're basically within one full-time bilingual person of clearing that wait list.
Yes. Yes, that's something I'll hopefully be addressing in the next month or two.
That's amazing.
Okay. All right. Any other?
Let me ask you just one quick question. So I've been watching the numbers over like the past year or so, and it seems like every time you bring on someone or expand hours that are availability, while you're definitely accommodating more people, it seems like the wait list does not necessarily go down.
Right.
It's kind of like when you're digging a hole in the sand and the water keeps filling up, and then you keep digging more, and then the water keeps filling up. So you're doing a great job, but that's an excellent question. I hope someday that there's no one on the wait list. But
hope.
we will be working together to continue to address that challenge.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And then our next item is the financial report. Did everybody have an opportunity to review that as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then number 3 is the approval of the executive session minutes from March 24th, 2025 and April 28th, 2025. We reviewed those in closed session, and there was a motion to recommend to this body to approve those minutes. Anybody have any comments or questions? Now, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Trustee Lujai motions to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Second? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Trustee Dukes,
Aye.
Trustee Lujai,
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek,
Aye.
Trustee Weincoop,
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. And now the approval of minutes dated June 23rd, 2025 for our regular board meeting. Everybody have an opportunity to review those minutes. Any comments or questions? May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve minutes from June 23, 2025.
Lujai seconds.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Dukes,
Aye.
Trustee Lujai,
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek,
Aye.
Trustee Weincoop,
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. We have no presentations this evening, and now it's time for the reports. Let's start with the assessor. Connie, can you tell us what's going on in the assessor's office?
Well, I can tell you what's going on in my office. I can't tell you what's going on in the county.
Your office will be fine.
That being said, I attended the Cook County Township Assessors meeting on Friday, Executive Board and the general meeting. And of course, the prevalent question was, when are the tax bills coming out? They should be out and due and payable August 1st. That is not going to happen. I'd give you a specific date, but that would be foolhardy on my part. I'm going with sometime between September and October, and at that we'll keep our fingers crossed. There are many reasons, some of which are valid and some of which aren't, which doesn't help our taxpayers one bit. Other than that, there's certain legislation that has been kicked around, particularly on raising the income threshold for senior freeze. It was passed with one house, wasn't with the other. If anything's going to happen, it's going to happen in the veto session. I don't even have a percentage chance on what's going to be going on there. One of the problems is you can raise the threshold from 65 to 75,000. One of the inherent problems that we face with our seniors is those seniors that have been responsible citizens and who have saved for their retirement are getting killed with the RMDs, the recommended dispersal from their 401ks. I'm seeing this as a repetitive problem with our taxation system, that those that have been responsible are the ones that are paying a price, and the ones that are not being responsible are doing quite well. And I find that ethically and morally, this is really abhorrent. So I would ask the legislature, if they are listening, to look at the total picture. The other thing that concerns me with this issue is we have a totally different economic base in Cook County. It is much more economical to live in southern Illinois So why are the numbers the same? The people in southern Illinois are getting quite a benefit, whereas those who live in the higher expense areas do not get the full benefit that they should possibly deserve. So these are things that we need to think about and we need to be proactive about.
Thank you. When you mentioned the RMD, is that something that is, are federal laws?
Part of it is, but it can be it can be taken into account through state statute, much like whether or not they tax retirement funds. They can say, okay, this is not going to be part of the calculation for the senior freeze. So these, it's not a one-size-fits-all, and unfortunately, very often legislatively, that's the perception that is taken. And what we need to look at is possibly more of a geographic approach, particularly when you're looking at it being much more economical to live outside of Cook County and the collar counties. But perhaps that what they're looking for is a more simplistic answer, but I think it's certainly more complicated than that. It should be perused in that vein, that we have to look at not only geographical, but we need to look to a balance that we don't currently have in our property tax system.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for the assessor? The Township assessor?
I have one quick question for the,
Yes. Trustee
you
Dirks.
mentioned that those in southern Illinois have a greater benefit than those in Cook County. Was there any benefits that you identified in particular other than lower property taxes, or were there more
Well,
benefits?
no, I mean, from that standpoint, I'm not going to address income tax. We're looking specifically at property tax. But if in fact your base for the senior freeze is $65,000, that gives an additional cushion to people outside the collar counties where incomes are not as high, correct? So when you look to Cook County and the collar counties, that $65,000 may sound reasonable, but it's not with the inflationary trends that we've had in the last 4 years. If you're looking at seniors who tried to save for their retirement and now are hit with the minimum required distribution, that goes against that $65,000. They are the people that had been responsible, and they are paying a price for it. And I think there's an issue that needs to be discussed.
And to be clear, there are certain laws that are federal laws that when you're saving money, whether it's through an IRA or a pension or any other ways, that there's required distributions, and that's what you're speaking of specifically,
That's correct. And it used to be, I believe, you had to start taking the RMDs at 70 and a half. They have raised that now to 73. And that's that's a slight benefit, but it doesn't solve the problem.
Thank you. Maybe we can talk about you authoring a letter to our state representatives and our state senators to get this issue before them while they're addressing the threshold as well.
Yeah, there was legislation passed by the Senate. There was legislation passed that had been amended by the House, went back to the Senate, and that's where we are. They have not come together on this. Right now, the legislation looks to be a straight $75,000. But again, stop and think about it. That $75,000 spends a lot better in southern Illinois than it does in Cook County. But I'd be happy to write that letter.
Wonderful.
If I could offer as a resident of Elk,
Trustee Weincoop?
if I could offer as a resident of Elk Grove Township, I think part of the reason I live in Elk Grove Township is because I could live anywhere else in Illinois, I suppose, but because there are many other benefits to living here. And I'm sure that many of those seniors, when they've evaluated whether they want to stay here or move south or move to a different state, have done that calculation and figured out that access to health care, access to cultural opportunities, access to restaurants, and all those kind of things kind of balance some of that out. So I just offer that, maybe we're not as bad off up here as, maybe in this one area, we could maybe be a little more equitable, but I think on the whole, people have made the choice that Elk Grove Township's a great place to live, regardless of whether they have a little extra money or not.
Well, if I were to address that, I would certainly invite you to my office when the second installment tax bill comes.
Happy to be there.
I just have a question. When would that take effect if they do vote on it? Who
It
knows?
depends on how
Okay.
the legislation is written and adopted and passed by both houses.
We actually had one of our state representatives visiting us, and when the deputy assessor was explaining that we have many seniors in the office crying because the senior freeze is no longer available to them because they're now over the threshold, the state rep and her chief of staff thought that it had passed. And so we've encouraged them that when they go back to Springfield, to make that a priority for us. So, thank you, Connie. And now for the clerk's report.
We
Clerk Satter?
We had 2 FOIAs this month, or in June. One was a commercial FOIA, just asking about information about our staff and their positions. And then the second one was from Katie Smizer, a senior producer at NBC in Chicago, and also asking about staff, elected officials, pay, contracted individuals, budget expenditures. So I don't know if we'll see an article or something coming from NBC about townships. And then I just want to thank everyone who participated in the Mount Prospect Parade. Unfortunately, it was very warm that day. I was not there, but so appreciate you all representing Elk Grove Township. And the next parade in Elk Grove is Saturday, September 20th, 2 o'clock. So you will get an email asking you to join in. And I can almost promise it'll be cooler, but.
Thank you for your report. And now for the supervisor's report. So as the clerk Saturn mentioned, we did participate in the 4th of July parade. We had some staff there in addition to Trustee Lujai and Trustee Dukes. I was in attendance as well. Lots of fans of the township were there, waving and making comments. So township has a very good rapport with the residents. Also wanted to note that on July 7th, the new office furniture for the interiors of our administrative office arrived, and they are now, the reconfigured workspace is now is more functional and visually appealing. And so it's been great, received well by staff, so that they're able to conduct their business without being interrupted. The most recent edition of the Township newsletter has been published and distributed both in print and online. The release of the newsletter coincides with the official launch of the 2025 Holiday Assistance Program, beginning with the annual Thanksgiving donation drive. This year's fundraising goal is $14,000, which will support the distribution of approximately 1,000 Thanksgiving meals to local families. Donations will be submitted in the following ways: online via Township website, by mail, and in person at the east side main entrance of the Township building. The Thanksgiving meal distribution will take place on Saturday, November 15th. Township staff are actively preparing for a safe, well-organized drive-through pickup event. Meals will be available exclusively to active food pantry recipients, meaning households must be registered and hold a current food pantry card in order to participate. For additional information, residents may contact the Communications and Outreach Manager at 224-222-0936. This information will also be published on the website and through social media. Erica Renz, our Director of Finance, successfully completed her FOIA certification and is now formally designated as a FOIA officer for the Township. She joins Isabella Manzo, the Township Administrator, and Sue Ellen Saturn, Township Clerk. In this capacity, as public records requests have increased in recent months, the return to 3 certified officers restores our traditional structure and enhances responsiveness. As you know, responding to FOIA requests, there's a time limit, and when there's a lot going on at the Township, we need to make sure that we're responsive to these, and so it's great to have Erica joining as a certified officer for the FOIA officer for the Township. The Township held its initial meeting with the contractor, awarded the smoke testing bid with project work expected to commence in late August. The homeowners in the affected areas will receive advance notification in 2 forms. A written notice will be sent via mail 7 days prior to the testing, and then a door hanger will be delivered a few days in advance. The testing will assess specific segments of the Township sanitary sewer system to make sure that there's no leaks. All communications to residents will include a phone number for inquiries and additional information. So in June, there was a back to school blast off from June 16th to July 31st. And that's where we're continuing to collect back to school supplies for students in need throughout the Township. Prince of Peace was added as an additional drop-off site at the end of June, making 8 total collection sites. So that's great, great work by the staff. So in July, we had the senior walking path, and we only had one person attend this time, but that was due to extreme heat and the holiday weekend. The 4th of July Community Food Drive was held July 4th through the 6th. It was a large community food drive in Arlington Heights and Elk Grove Village. Were donated paper goods, feminine hygiene products, and shelf-stable items. The donations were split between Elk Grove Township and Wheeling Township food pantries. And I wanted to thank Trustee Staniak for her support in coordinating that drive. There was a senior education event with Living Wills on July 10th. The Center for Disability and Elder Law was on site to do presentations addressing legal issues for seniors. We had 18 people attend this year's event. Last year was only 8. So we're seeing an increase in participation in the events that are put on by the Township. You know, some of it has to do with the newsletter, but it also has to do with the social media that we have and the exposure through word of mouth. The Bike Safety Open Ride on July 15, 20 people were in attendance. This included children who participated in the bike safety class before and the open ride, and people who just came out for an open ride. Elk Grove Township Elk Grove Village Police Bike Safety Department and Friends of Cycling were also on site during the open ride to interact with the kiddos. On July 17th, the Pocus International Food Donation delivered 2 full pallets of gummy candies and cups of noodles. For the people that use the food pantry, you know, it's nice to get something a little bit sweet, so I'm sure that they appreciated that as much as we do. Indivisible Elk Grove Township Food Drive. Indivisible Elk Grove Township had a huge donation of various items that were donated to the food pantry. Again, thank you to Trustee Staniak for your support in that. And on July 18th, we had Passport Day at Elk Grove Township. And this was in partnership with Congressman Raja Kurishmurthy. This room that we're in right now was filled with tables, chairs, and staff. This year, the staff processed 81 new children or expired passports right here at the Township. 27 renewal passports were reviewed by the Township, and 102 photos were taken. Last year, we only processed 17 applications. So drum roll please for the 535% growth in this program. So thank you to the staff. It was pressure. I was in the township. I wish that I was certified because I wanted to help. But I spoke with Congressman Raja's staff. I took a couple of them on a tour of the building. But our staff worked very, very hard, and we're very, very diligent to make sure that everyone that came here for Passport Day was serviced. So thank you to the staff for that. And that is the completion of my report. Are there any comments or questions regarding the assessor, the clerk, or the supervisor's reports?
I do have a, maybe not a comment, but a shout out. I was also present here for the Passport Day, and as I was walking to the office, there was a resident that was walking with me. And I can't tell if he was more excited to see the staff of Congressman Raja or if he was more excited to see everybody else in here, but all I could hear is how wonderful the staff is in our township, and we are really, really lucky to have absolutely amazing people. The township donation that I got a chance to witness twice for the food pantry. We have an exceptional volunteers in this township. People who get excited, and probably some of them have been around for a very long time. And I feel like the excitement is just equal every single time they receive the food donation. And the amazing residents that we have in here that have so much and are willing to help neighbors was absolutely amazing to see. So I'm so glad to be a part of it.
All right, can I have a motion to accept the assessor, clerk, and supervisor's reports?
I move to accept the reports of the assessor, clerk, and supervisor.
Lujai seconds.
Can the clerk call the roll?
Trustee Dukes,
Aye.
Trustee Lujai,
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek,
Aye.
Trustee Weincoop,
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is under new business, is a resolution 2025-13. It's a petition request for annexation from Elk Grove Village. So the village has annexed the library. They've annexed the right-of-way around, I'm sorry, not the library. They annexed the cemetery. That's a little bit different. They annexed the township cemetery, and they annexed the right-of-way around the cemetery, and now they are annexing the road that we maintain that leads up to the cemetery. Along with this annexation is a promise that we are going to renegotiate our agreement because we need to exclude that portion of the road that we are paying to have maintained, whether it's snow removal or just overall maintenance. So right now we have an annexation of the cemetery road, and that's going to be going to Elk Grove Village. There's a memorandum that was put together by Township Administrator Isabella Manzo, along with the resolution, along with the Exhibit A, which is always fun to read, those descriptions of the pieces of property. And I wanted to see if, and then also the map. And what we did was we provided two maps. One is the actual plat, and the other is a map of the area, just to make sure that everybody was comfortable with the annexation and was aware of exactly what was being annexed at this time. Does anybody have any questions regarding this annexation?
Very excited for it.
Wonderful. May I have a motion to approve the annexation?
I move to approve the
annexation. Let me rephrase. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-13?
I move to approve Resolution 2025-13, the petition request for annexation from Elk Grove Village.
Trustee Dukes, second.
Can the clerk call the roll, please?
Trustee Dukes,
Aye.
Trustee Lujai,
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek,
Aye.
Trustee Weincoop,
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is discussion and comments from the board. Does anybody have anything that is for the greater good of the board?
Yes, it wasn't a question, so I didn't say it earlier, but I just wanted to say, Luann, thank you so much for everything that you and your staff does. As somebody that's married to a social worker, I know the lives that you change, the lives that you save, and the effects in this community that you and your staff have. So hearing that report and all of the people that you service just always warms my heart. And thank you so much. I know the hours that y'all put in to do that. And then also just hearing how many new services and the additions of percentages that we have. There's a lot of great things happening in the township. So I'd like to thank everybody here for spreading the word and continuing to do that with our Get Out campaigns and just talking about the great things that this township does. This will be even more of a stellar year, and next year is nothing but continuing to increase overall. So the word is out that the township is here to help the residents and all of the members of our community. We want to just keep working as hard as we possibly can. So thank you all so much for a wonderful month.
Anyone else?
I just want to quickly say what an honor it is to witness the township staff at work. So once a month, we, as board trustees, come in and review the financials, make sure that every check that goes out is appropriate, make sure that we're being good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. And every time I sit in Supervisor Manzo's office and review those things, there are things happening. And this morning, we had a bus that would not start. And we had another bus that was in the shop. And we need buses in order to transport people, and those people need transportation to medical appointments and important things. And it was just great to sit there and listen to them problem solve all these things, and just to know how resourceful our township staff are, and how motivated they are by the value of serving the community, to the point where I think Supervisor Manzo this morning jumped a bus with her car. And without regard for what that might do to her car. So I just appreciate that very much, and I think that's just an indicator, along with what Trustee Lujai said about the counseling services we offer, and the constant reminder of how much we're doing through general assistance and social services. It's just amazing how lean the township is and how much value comes out of the services that are provided by the staff. So thank you all.
I want to provide a little bit of context there. So 8 o'clock this morning, we had transportation kicks off at 8 a.m. So we were about to hit the road, and our driver, Chris, who drives that morning shift, said the bus won't start. But we couldn't wait very long because he had dialysis patients to go pick up. And the next two drivers don't start until 9 o'clock. So he hopped on the next available bus, and I got a phone call just coming into the township that we needed to make some adjustments in Eco Lane. So we closed off one run, got everybody out, and then we're able to jump the bus and get it on the road by 10 o'clock. Typical leave is 9. We got them out by 10:12 exactly. I think that was the pullout. So Jason got to witness all of us at work trying to get the show on the road, but we did not have to make any cancellations. Once we got that bus running, we had contacted everyone who needed to go, so everyone got to where they needed to be today, and that is the plus of having an additional bus and a couple of different solutions. So we're ready, we're prepped, and we definitely got it going.
All right, if there's no other comments, motion to adjourn?
Trustee Lujai motions to adjourn.
Can we get a second?
Second?
Can the clerk call the roll, please?
Trustee Dukes?
Aye.
Trustee Lujai?
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek?
Aye.
Trustee Weincoop?
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta?
Aye. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next month.